This week's episode, we go on rants about a lot of things and we talk about games. Let's do it.
This week in our collective heads, wanna put an old rumor to bed. Stereotype that you've all heard, how we're all just angry video game nerds. Most of us have actual jobs, kids and families and cats and dogs, yeah. This week in our collective heads, this week in our collective heads.
Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin.
And we're here giving you the gaming news like we do every single week. Giving you gaming news for over a year and a half now.
Indeed.
Happy about that. September will be our 2-year anniversary of the show. And we're at 84 episodes.
Yeah,
so
welcome to episode 84.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and do the general rundown of the news, and then we'll talk about Call of Duty in a separate video on YouTube.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is the main topic.
Yep.
But there's a lot of other news that came out, and we definitely want to share that with you.
And some viewer feedback and listener feedback in Totes, our Topic of the Episode show, which is on MMOs. So let us know in the comments if you listen to this live about that. So we'll start off with the PlayStation
Plus games.
Yeah.
Which are slightly different in America and Europe. On PS4 in Europe, you get Alienation, which is on screen now.
Yes.
And Tales from the Borderlands. And in America, we're getting Abzu.
Yes.
And Tales from the Borderlands. Fun fact, I already owned both of those games. And so that's going to help a little bit with our new plan. We're trying to get these out a little bit faster to you. And so we're aiming to have this up by next Tuesday.
Yes.
Not this coming Tuesday, but the following.
Correct.
And
happy about Tales from the Borderlands because I love Borderlands and I love Telltale. We also have Blood Knights, which I don't know how to feel about. I mean, it looks
like a version of Gauntlet.
Yes.
And it's got the kind of isometric, top down, all that kind of stuff going on. But yeah, so that's on PS3, and we'll let you know how that is. The second PS3 game is Port Royale 3, which I had not heard of any of the rest of them, but it's some kind of sim. You build a thing and farm, and you make
you know what?
Ports and make them Royale.
But you get ships, so that's cool. We also get Laser Disco Defenders
on Vita,
which you know what? That just looks sexy. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, it's
this looks like it's up your alley, but not in a good. Not like this would be up your alley if it was a good game.
Yeah,
I'm guessing that the quality's isn't going to be there.
The main issue is the controls feel like a starter game.
Yeah, we also got Typewriter, which I love the name of. I don't care about the game. Typewriter may be one of my favorite games because I love puns. I love that wordplay.
And so we're going to be. It looks like if Limbo was attacked by a typewriter.
Yes.
So
that's exactly what it looks like.
And I'm down for that.
Yeah. We got some backwards compatible games too.
We do indeed. We have Dead Space 2 and 3. There's a bit of controversy in this series as to which are the best ones, because Dead Space 1 was very minimalist type horror, and Dead Space 2 and 3 they lean a little bit further into the action.
Yeah, I'd say. I agree. Two gets close to uncomfortable in my opinion. And by uncomfortable I mean like too comfortable. I want more horror. Three took it off the map when it came to let's make it more actiony. Let's throw microtransactions into this, and let's basically just destroy what we need.
But if you want to hear all the story of Isaac Clarke, this is where you can get it via backwards compatibility. We got an interview with 343 about Halo 6 and Master Chief and kind of their plans as far as all that's concerned. They said, look, we hear you when it came to, what you wanted out of Halo 5, and So they said that the main thing was, we need more Master Chief. Well, the thing is, okay, yes, Master Chief equals Halo. That's obvious. I don't know how you didn't get that. But this does ignore kind of a deeper problem as far as the Halo series is concerned, and it's the marketing of Halo 5 versus what you got.
Yeah,
were dramatically different.
We got tiny bits of Master Chief. We got
and it was supposed to be
story,
like the way that they marketed it was this giant showdown between Chief and Locke.
Yeah,
and it was this new Spartan team, and has Chief gone rogue? And basically the conflict of these two characters that were pitted as polar opposites, and what's happening is they meet up, and in an in-game cutscene they discuss, and Chief goes, "Oh, this is what I meant." Locke goes, "Yeah, that makes sense."
Yep.
And that was it.
That's
and
not how you do conflict.
that's not interesting.
No.
And the Halo and Gears, like there's a lot of difficulty in trying to take a series and go a new direction with it. Like, you can only go so far before it's something else, and you have to try to satisfy the people who played it before, introduce new people to it, and it's a very difficult balancing act. I get that. I'm not saying that it's easy.
Yeah.
But Xbox's big tentpole series are Gears of War, Halo, and Forza. Forza, you can keep iterating and keep upgrading and doing and stuff, but like, as far, you can only take a story so far in video games before it just gets ridiculous. Yep. Fast and Furious embraces that, and it's like, we're just gonna throw tanks off of helicopters, and we're gonna drive them out of showrooms that are on the 5th floor, and it'd be fine. Don't even worry about it.
How about like the 30th floor? I mean, it gets like, so crazy, but it knows it's crazy,
right? And that's okay. And so if you're wanting us to take a story seriously, this is not how to do it. And so I appreciate that they're going back to Master Chief. But I feel like that's only dealing with one of the issues in the whole thing. So we'll see how it turns out. But
we did get to see how Nintendo Switch sold.
Yes, we
officially. 2.74 million Switches sold so far. So Nintendo's, and that I apologize, that is during the month of March.
Yes.
So Nintendo said we were going to give you 2 million. And they gave us more than that. So all the people online who have been saying Nintendo's creating a shortage on purpose, you're wrong. You're really wrong, because
their numbers, the numbers that they believe that they would need were 2 million, and they have sold considerably more than that. They've been ramping this up, and
it's the second fastest console sell of all time to be sold in a month for the first month.
Sometime I'll debate you on that, because I disagree.
Well, no, the numbers show the first month it's the second highest.
Right, but the biggest thing about that, and the reason that it's like when they say, it's like when they present numbers shipped or something like that.
Yeah.
It's, if you look at it in a certain way, then with these parameters, it's the second fastest selling console. There's more to it. I researched this. But that's not what we're doing.
We'll talk about that next time.
But the interesting thing about this is that this was also a global launch, which the PS4 and Xbox One were not.
Yeah.
And so that slowly phased out over various things. And I wonder, with the NES Classic Edition that we complained about last week, with them not producing it, if they're seeing these numbers on the Switch and they went, holy crap, we need to be selling more as soon as possible. They've said that they're going to do, I believe it's 10 million in production in their last financial report. They need more. If they were able to take some of the factories doing the production on the Classic Edition and switch those to Switch, that's the right decision.
Which may have happened already. I mean, the fact that they're like, we're not doing any more NES Classics. Now, the interesting part of that, though, is they're coming out with the 2DS XL. And the 2DS XL, I think, is a really great idea. I think it's a great product. But at the same time, like you mentioned, I think resources need to be pushed all the way into Switch. The 3DS, 2DS, whatever ecosystem doesn't necessarily need to be phased out, but continue to support it for a little while before the change happens. So the Xbox 360, the end of production on that happened earlier this year, right? It was so they waited 3 years into the life cycle. I don't think Nintendo should do that. I think Nintendo should give it a year. Nintendo should give it a year, and next March, third parties can do it. That's fine, but first party games are going to be there.
And some of this could have. A lot of this could have to do with the fact that they didn't know what was going to happen with the Switch, because it is a very bold and interesting thing that they're doing, and the idea of a console / handheld had not been done before. And turns out we all wanted that.
They tried it with the Super Nintendo and Game Boy, but you had to have both, and it was just you had to have both and an adapter, and it was This is so easy.
So basically, what I'm seeing here, okay, my prediction is that this will be the last DS edition thing.
Yes.
And so they will move to the other one, but it's $149. It's reasonably priced. But you double that, and you get one of the best systems out there, as opposed to a system. The 2DS XL is pretty, and it folds, and so you don't have to worry about the screen and everything. But it's like it's not pretty.
No,
and
it's not pretty.
It has dated poorly.
It has dated poorly, and
not even dated poorly. It's just really old.
But you're right. You're right. Instead of spending $150. You wait a bit, spend $300, get a Switch. You're good. You're getting the new hotness. You're getting what they're going to be supporting for the next, 7 years or so. You're going to get all the new games. It's portable, and it goes and it's on your TV. It's great. The only drawback is if you have multiple kids, then you having multiples of those. Obviously, the cost problems with that. But the multiplayer games that are on that, as well as just getting them to share. I mean, there's no drawback to the Switch on that. On that.
So the 3DS was launched in February of 2011.
Yep.
Time to let it go.
It's a little old for a handheld.
So speaking of old things, Night Trap is getting a 25th anniversary re-release. All right.
So
and this is I want to buy this for the history.
Yes.
Because this game was on the floor of the Supreme Court.
Yep.
And they only showed so if you fail in this game, if you are not helping the damsels in distress or whatever, then they get chopped up or eaten or whatever. It's vampire something or other. The part that they showed on the Senate floor was if you fail, and then they were like, look at what they're making gamers do. And it was, no, you're trying to not do that. That's like showing the deaths in Last of Us, which were pretty horrific. Like when you get eaten by a clicker, like that is traumatic.
If you look at the gameplay in this, though, by the way, look how similar it is to Five Nights at Freddy's. It's basically the same thing. You're watching these people, and I believe they're burglars. I have not played this game because I didn't have a Sega CD. Right. But I really want to play it. For history, like you said, for history. The fact that these games are getting remastered and brought into an easy-to-purchase form is great for history.
Okay, so how much do you know about the production of this?
About the production of Night Trap?
Okay, so this is side quest. I'm not going to go too deep into this. Originally, this was a VHS game where you would switch tapes.
Oh.
Yeah. And they made it, they filmed it, and then they went, and then apparently it took this long for them to figure out. They had finished all the filming of all the possible scenes, and then somebody went, wait, what? And then they were like, oh, yeah, that's not a thing.
That's not gonna...
And it wasn't until they started to put stuff onto CDs that they even had the space to put it there. But it was originally a VHS. You physically switch tapes, and I love that.
There are VHS board games, but you fast forward to specific spots. In
I don't want to play
timestamp. No, but like back in the late '80s, or like probably up to 91 or 92.
Late 80s were a weird time.
Like, you didn't have any way to do video like this. There was no chance. You're doing, Super Nintendo, Genesis, and that was it. So if you want to give a real full story, there's even a WWF one that they couldn't get any of the licensed wrestlers on, so it's just generic wrestlers. It's just generic wrestlers, and you fast forward to a certain timestamp, and he does a powerbomb. It's horrible.
Yeah, that sounds pretty bad.
Yeah, but what sounds really good
is
Tekken 7. except for certain things that are going to be cut out.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if you've seen... apparently, like, some of the people that I've talked to have been like, oh, yeah, that video. But there's a video of, like, a kangaroo that puts a dog in a headlock, and then somebody punches the kangaroo.
Yes, I've seen that. So, it's exactly what happens. Okay. The kangaroo put the dog in a headlock, and the owner of the dog, ran up and punched the kangaroo.
Yeah.
Because he's like, get your hands off my dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I would do too. I'd punch a kangaroo.
Yeah. Okay, so was the kangaroo wearing boxing gloves?
No.
Okay, then this didn't need to happen.
This was not a sanctioned fight.
So,
okay.
All right. So Roger Jr. has been in the Tekken series since like Tekken 2 or 3. Yeah. I mean, he's been around for forever. Apparently, Agata saw this video and was like, "Oh, animal rights people are going to protest that there's a kangaroo getting punched."
No.
And they're removing him, and that makes me sad because Tekken's characters are ludicrous.
Yes.
That's part of it.
Yes. Come on, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
And then Armor King.
Yep.
He took his helmet off he took his head off, and it was a person under there, and then that was never brought up again. We will not discuss it.
Because
we will not cover it.
He's better with the cat head.
Well, yeah, but that was King's mentor. What does that mean?
I don't know, but it irritates me as an animal lover because you're talking about a ridiculous scenario of over the top characters that you're not glorifying, like going out and punching kangaroos.
Right, like there were games on Android and iOS and stuff that were like pit dog fighting games.
Yeah.
No, don't do that. Don't ban it. Don't play them. But those have a right to exist.
I think that they have a right to exist to an extent, because and we can debate that later.
Okay, we'll have
do
that
a debate.
Yeah, we'll have that fight sometime.
Yeah.
But which would actually be really pressing right now, and we can hashtag it Berkeley, and then get all the views.
We could.
So anyway, so he's not going to be in there, but Kuma is, because he said, well, Kuma's stronger than a person. It's like, look, people used to box kangaroos and get the crap beat out of them because kangaroos are strong as heck, and if they come up and they kick, they can kill.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the kangaroos are not really in.
Yeah. I think that it's stupid to make this kind of decision to try to placate people who you're going to have a small percentage of people who are angry about anything and everything.
Yeah.
And then you have some people who are like, okay, that's a video game.
The other thing about that is nobody had protested yet.
Nope.
It's a reaction. It's silencing yourself out of self-censorship.
Yeah.
And that is an entirely other debate that I think we're way more on the same side on that.
I completely agree.
But next topic. So Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. We got some more news about that. That's coming out September 19th, and the big bad of those series has always been Magneto, or who's the big purple guy?
Galactus.
Yeah, Galactus.
Yep.
Has been one of those. So that is no longer the case. The big bad in this is going to be a combination of Ultron and Sigma. And that sounds wonderful, because
amazing.
I love those characters, and their commitment to mayhem and digital destruction sounds like so much fun. And so and I like Sigma a lot. I
love Marvel. I love the Marvel vs. Capcom games, and one thing that I'm really liking about the state of the world that we're in is that we are now getting into the really interesting, and the fact that we've got Ultron, we're going to have Thanos and all that, we're getting into the more interesting aspects of Marvel when it comes to the galactic, like the real big bads. Right. Magneto's bad guy, sure.
Yeah.
But as soon as he gets off the planet, he's nothing.
Yeah.
He is nothing, and I don't mean that because of his powers. I mean, power-wise, he is insignificant compared to Galactus, and then Galactus in comparison to, like, Thanos, and then you have all the Celestials and everything.
I like that to an extent.
Yeah.
I will keep this brief. I feel like the MCU. I go and watch the Avenger movie, the big tentpole, the massive. This is the big, and I'm like, well, that was fun. I don't rewatch those. Like, I might rewatch the fight scene at the end of Avengers 1.
Okay.
But I don't go back to those. The ones that are interesting to me is like Doctor Strange. where that is a personal journey, and his relationships and his beliefs that change. That's interesting. Narrow down. Like I appreciate that we can do Galactus and Ultron and the big bads, but the character stories will always be the more interesting ones.
No, I agree. If I'm going to watch Captain America Winter Soldier versus Age of Ultron, Captain Winter Soldier's better.
Yeah.
The interpersonal stories are so much better in that. I think the big team up movies can get a little much when it's hard to dial back and deal with one person's story when you have 7 protagonists. And telling that in a 2.5 hour block is difficult. So I would agree. I think Doctor Strange is a great example of that. But again, we're getting into Dormammu. So I mean, this is ridiculously powerful people. That before, I mean, in the even the late 90s, early 2000s, the best you could get was Magneto, because terrestrial wise, he's the most powerful.
Right.
But now we're able to tell these like higher end concepts. And I also like that. I like it as a nerd because I'm like, I know all about this stuff, and I also like that we're getting into these things, and you can tell the story, and you don't have that many ultra religious people protesting the fact that Thanos is technically is almost a god, and death's proxy is he's in love with, and you have these quasi-religious ideas. I mean, there is an explanation for how the universe started according to Marvel.
Yeah.
Not according to science, but according to their universe.
Right.
And
this
the
is
fact
how
that we
this
can get into
universe
this, and no one. I've never seen a protest outside of a Marvel movie about it.
Yeah.
But we might see that if we start to get into movies that actually go into explanations. But anyways, love it. Love Marvel.
Yeah.
Very
So
happy
that's coming out September 19th. Check the YouTube chat. Next up we have Jackbox Party Pack 4.
Yeah.
Which I buy those every time because those are fun party games. Specifically, Fibbage 3. Which Fibbage is one of the best, consistently best throughout the series.
It is.
Honestly, it's worth the $20 if it gets you. If like we play that at 2 parties and there's like 10, 15 people, like you can get a lot of people playing on those, and it is so much fun. You know, so I'm looking forward to the next one.
A few years ago, you know, like every one of my like Halloween parties, Guitar Hero would come out at one point.
Yeah.
But now it's like, as soon as you pull out Fibbage or you pull out the Jackbox games, like that's it. Like you get all these people just go over to the couch. I think we had like 8 or 9 people playing. Out of the 40 that were here. I mean,
and there's a much higher element of creativity with these. Whereas, speaking of games that get played at everything, when Cards Against Humanity, like I played that twice and I was done because it's like
I like it with new people. I really like it with new people.
It's just different combinations of the same jokes, and it
is, but I like it with new people because it's like immediately break the ice. I went to a party, I knew no one there, and people brought out Cards Against Humanity. Some people played it, some people hadn't.
Okay.
And immediately, like within 10 to 15 minutes, there were no longer any barriers and censorship within the table. We talked about anything and everything. Everyone just opened up, and it was really cool for something to break that to break up the small talk when you're talking about such ridiculous concepts. Not that people went into their personal lives, but immediately we were like, oh, we're all in this, we're all people, everybody poops. And it was just really cool for everyone to just go, and relax.
Right.
I think that's cool.
Okay,
there are some better ones though. Is it called Super Fight? I think is what it's called. Have you seen that one?
I haven't seen Super Fight.
You have a stack of cards that are characters, and you have a stack of cards that are attributes.
Okay.
And you draw 3 from each, I think, and you pair them up. And basically, I'm going to put down a person and attribute, and I'm going to debate you and your person and your attribute as to who would have won in a fight.
I am so in.
It's really cool.
That sounds
it's
pretty
really cool.
wonderful.
I will say the first time that I played it, it was going really well, and then the person that I got paired up with, which is my buddy Devin, he's awesome. We got paired up with Devin, and his person that he chose was the most interesting man in the world, and I couldn't beat it no matter what I said. You just can't compete with that. So It's good stuff.
I like it.
We're trying to get through more of these in our. We're trying to be quick on these, but it doesn't happen all the time. So Breath of the Wild came out.
Plus, we didn't get to talk last weekend.
No, we
so
didn't.
that.
Zelda Breath of the Wild came out. If you guys are living under a rock and didn't know, best Zelda game, possibly the best game of all time.
Also, thanks for watching us from under your rock. But yeah, so somebody has taken that and did a demake of the original demo, because when they were composing the game, they decided to try to be like, well, what if we just had this kind of concept?
Yeah.
And so
how do you chop down trees like it showed there? Day and night cycle. The idea.
like how would that work?
The idea of hunting. You no longer have hearts. You no longer have rupees that you grab. So this was a really easy way that Nintendo came up with the demo. So this person made it in RPG Maker, if I'm not mistaken, and spent a couple months making it. And it's brilliant. I said when the news came out that they said, oh, this is what we did originally for Zelda, to come up with a concept to play with these ideas.
Yeah, and you're like, I want to play that one too.
I want to play that game. I want that game. I want an ultimate. Nintendo, if you're listening, and I know you are, if you give me a collector's edition or the ultimate edition of Zelda that has the DLC, which that'll be coming out later this year.
Right.
Give me an ultimate Game of the Year edition, has the DLC and has that, and I will buy the game again, just for that. It's amazing.
And that's the version I'll get.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I think it's really cool that they did that, though, that they created the 2D one, because you can bang out all these different concepts in a week or two. Before getting really intricate and going, 6 months down the line, year down the line, we're like, oh.
Well, the other thing is that this is something that you can put in and see, okay, allow imaginations to expand on that and be like, okay, is this fun? Is this interesting? Speaking of things that are fun and interesting, I'm a huge fan of the Burnout series.
Yes.
And Criterion is now making Need for Speed, and it's been... they've been borged by EA. Criterion, as it existed before, no longer exists. However, Three Fields Entertainment, which put out Dangerous Golf last year and Lethal VR, I want to say January?
You haven't played that one.
Has shot out another one, and we're getting Burnout Crash Mode. It's called Danger Zone.
But it's basically...
Yeah. $13.
Yeah.
And in May, which is a year after they did Dangerous Golf, and they're just putting stuff out, and I will keep giving them money because I love this stuff.
They were interviewed talking about these kind of games. They couldn't go through EA. They couldn't go through these top level publishers because there's way too much oversight when it comes to, will that game sell?
Yeah, and so basically what they said was, because they, like I said, they made Lethal VR, and then they kind of started working on Danger Zone. Danger Zone! And, okay, if you have to charge me $3 more for it to have Danger Zone as the title screen music, charge me $3 more, and I will pay. I will buy the deluxe edition.
I will send Kenny Loggins that money personally to get that.
And I feel like their odds of being able to get that music are pretty high, because Archer has been making fun of it, and they got Kenny freaking Loggins to sing Danger Zone on Archer. I think could happen.
If I was Loggins, I would totally do it. I mean, at this point in his career, he's done some amazing work.
Yeah.
But at this point in his career, it's like, what's the worst that can happen? You have Archer, you have this. Worst thing that happens is that younger kids that don't know Kenny Loggins go, I love that song. I want to buy this, whatever. Who is this guy?
Yeah.
So I think there's no negatives to that whatsoever.
So we're going to get 20, intersections, basically. And for those of you who haven't played it, basically, you take a car and you run it into a busy intersection, try to cause as much damage as is humanly possible.
Yeah.
And I still want my Burnout racing games, like the traffic tag and the takedowns and stuff like that. Those were my favorite part. I believe that Three Fields Entertainment will eventually give us that, but that is so much bigger and more complicated than Crash Mode. I mean, Crash Mode is wonderful. Crash Mode is fun. It's not my favorite part of Burnout. but it's pretty fun.
It is fun.
And I'm looking forward to it.
Very, very much looking forward to it. Can't wait. Something to not look forward to is a DDoS attack.
Or a 2-year prison sentence.
Or a 2-year prison sentence because the hacker who is responsible for a lot of these has been sentenced to 2 years. This is the guy that took down Xbox Live. He took down.
Well, this is the guy that made and sold the software that was used for the DDoS attack by Lizard Squad and.
That's right.
Other.
I thought he was part of Lizard Squad. I may have been mistaken on that, but
no, he just licensed it out and sold the software.
But this is I'm irritated that something like this happens. I think that to an extent, hacking at its core used to be how do you get something to work? How does this thing actually work, and what can I do with it? And it's become very, very negative. Because of people like this.
Yeah.
And it bothers me because someone to do something like this for a straight up malicious reason is wrong. Speaking of this, did you hear about the Orange is the New Black season 5 episode 1?
No.
So that comes out in June or July.
Okay.
So someone hacked Netflix's servers. And they have, I think the first 5 episodes, and they basically have ransomed to Netflix saying, I'm going to release these unless you pay me. So they released the first one already.
Okay.
So instead of the show has not come out yet, but they're leaking them on the internet, and they're like, "Give me money." Oh, you haven't given me money? Here's episode 2. You still haven't given me money? Here's episode 3, which is really messed up. You're technically stealing. Mm-hmm. This is a product that, yes, it's digital, but this is a product that hasn't even been released, and you're ransoming it because you hacked someone's server.
Okay. What you're talking about, as far as the concept of hacking, that to me is the whole DDoS attack thing is basically about making other people not have fun.
Yes.
The idea of leaking something that you managed to hack into the servers and get, that's digital theft, and it's a dick move.
Yeah, I agree.
Ruining Christmas for other people,
I agree.
Just because that is another level of malicious.
Yeah.
Without even any gain.
Well, because
it's just big middle fingers to.
The malice is pointed at Netflix instead of a bunch of anonymous people who are trying to play games on Christmas.
People who don't even know, and there's not even any benefit to anyone except knowing that they caused someone else pain.
I would agree.
This guy's going for money. Okay.
Yeah.
Lots of people do horrible things for money, but this
I would agree. I was just saying it's related news. I wasn't saying that this guy is equally as a dick. I just mean like in hacker news, this is going on as well. Okay. And so, yes, you can find it on the internet. It's decent quality and it has a little timestamp because it's their work print. Right. So it's got the running timestamp on the corner. But he's released the first episode. Apparently he has other stuff as well, other than Orange is the New Black, and he's ransoming Netflix for it. But
okay. And when it comes on Netflix, I'll watch it. Well, not Orange is the New Black, because I tapped out at season 2.
Nah. Well, let us know in the comments if you like Orange is the New Black, or what we missed out in the gaming news, and we'll talk to you guys later.